My name is Phyllis Francis. I'm an Olympic athlete and a world champion. And I've been a professional athlete for the past 8 years.
What's it like to be a track and field athlete? Like, what goes into being one?
I would say a lot of mental toughness, strength, discipline, because it's not one of those sports where it's like a team sport where you can kind of, if you're lacking in something, you can kind of depend on your other teammates to help you out. It's more so solely just you. So it's you in your own lane and you have to do whatever event you have to do. And it's going to require a lot of dedication and discipline.
At the University of Oregon specifically, you're 18 years old, you're running at one of the most iconic sports schools of all time. You stayed there for all 4 years. So how did your mental health kind of change while you were there?
It had some ebbs and flows. There were times where, I think it was my sophomore year, where I'm like, I'm just gonna be a regular college student. This isn't for me. Like, too safe. I'm out, you know? It was just a lot of pressure back then. They don't do it anymore. You know, now they have new rules, but back then, if you didn't perform well, they will cut your contract. I remember at the end of the year, they would always have our coach would have 2 sheets of paper, here's your original scholarship and here's the reduced one. What's it gonna be? And I'm like, it was very stressful. But once I figured out what I wanted and what I can do and pretty much what I wanted and what I can do, it made a lot of things easier instead of me trying to do what I think they would want from me. So I just had to stay true to myself.
You competed in the 2016 Olympics, and notably you were on the 4x4 relay and you brought home the gold medal winning team. So you mentioned bigger competitions. That's arguably the biggest stage you could be on. So mentally, what was that experience like for you? Do you feel like your experience and time at U of O helped you transition and do that successfully?
Yes, I did. That's one thing I will say about Oregon. It definitely prepared me for a professional life, post-collegiate, you know. I was already just dealing with that little bit of collegiate stress, having to deal with the Olympic stress of it all.
Yes.
I mean, obviously it's stress, but I had ways to cope with it and ways to process it a lot better than when I was in college, when I'm just kind of figuring out this is new. And it also helps that they have a psychologist on the Olympic team. So if you're having anything or any issues or you feel overwhelmed, you can always talk to somebody. So that's good. And, just talk with your teammates and whatnot. Oregon definitely prepared me for my professional career in the Olympics and whatnot.
So when you did make the decision to retire, was that an easy decision that you came to? Were you satisfied with it, or did you struggle with it a bit?
I struggled with it a lot. I struggled with that a lot because, it becomes your identity. Becomes who you are. I just started to notice my body just was breaking down slowly but surely. And now I'm just thinking about my longevity of my health and what my quality of life will be when I'm older. I did not want to be walking around having 2 knee replacements and 2 hip replacement surgeries before the age of 40. I was okay with finally just hanging up the spikes and walking away. It's okay, because you're always gonna feel like I can just do a little bit more. Maybe I can just you're always gonna feel that. That's natural, but it has to be a time where I'm just gonna be you know what? I'm okay with this. And that's fine. That is one of the lessons track and field has definitely taught me, just to stay in your lane. No pun intended.
Your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Run your race.
Run your race. Yeah, you can apply that with everything in life. It builds confidence for sure.
Yes.
Even if you don't win a race, or if you don't win a tennis match or whatever, it builds the confidence for that individual to know hey, you know what? I wasn't sure about it, but I went out there and I did it, And it also teaches you about it's okay if things don't come to you right away. It's okay if you lose. It just matters what you do after that. Are you gonna get back up? People especially as a pro athlete, people are gonna say whatever, you should have won this, or what happened here? It builds thick skin and you learn from it. It also helps with okay, you know what, they're saying this, brush it off, get back up and try again. And we'll see. And we'll go from there. Because in the real world, that's kind of like what it is, you know, okay, you're applying for a job, you didn't get that. Do you just sit at home and cry about it? I mean, you can for a little bit. Give yourself a day or two. But then you put yourself back out there again. And that's something, track and field definitely taught me. Another lesson track and field has taught me. Just get back up there and just go out there and try again.